people around them. Sorry, I'm live streaming this on YouTube, more also because then if my connection goes bad, it will still continue to get saved and recorded. Thank you. Uh, Finally, we also realize that we don't have to impose this whole business of school and college and degree and certification onto everybody. Rather, leave it as choices. So that is what open learning is all about. In some ways, it's about these four thoughts, and if we kind of are in sync with these four thoughts, then everything else kind of flows out of it. Uh, we are not trying to say that the child should not go to school or should not get a degree, not at all. We are saying everything is a choice. Let the child or the family figure it out, rather than it seeing as a mandate or mandate, I should say. So when I talk to parents and families and children, there's some questions that come, and I'm trying to also quickly give you an overview that the overview of these questions or the category of questions that come up, so that we can kind of use that as we go along thinking about open learning or unschooling, homeschooling. I'm just using all the terms interchangeably. And so these are what is on the slide are some of the questions. Let me quickly cover them. I'm not trying to tell you the answers to these questions. These slides actually have little thoughts about what different people have shared. Somebody shares, oh, why open learning? Because it's just so much fun living or learning what one wants. Somebody feels I can have a much wider exposure, or I can do it at my own pace, and so on. So as I said, to us, the core idea is that the child is the leader and of the life. Not necessarily that means the child has to do it alone. We are all with the child. The second kind of question comes, hey, what kind of learning? So again, different people have different views. Somebody says, hey, whatever is the child's interest. Somebody's saying curiosity is curriculum, which anyway we'll talk more about today. Somebody says it includes everything in this world, and so on. And we also kind of believe that open learning, or living for that matter, is not about one thing. It's about whatever somebody likes. So we say that the whole world is our map, literally. Yeah, that's the image that you are seeing on your screen. The third kind of questions people has is about what kind of people, what kind of support, what kind of resources will a child need. And again, we talk about that, hey, everything is a resource. Everyone is a resource. The whole world is a resource, right? And that is why we don't say ROE is limited to one space, but more in terms of open learning is always unlimited. Yeah, the abundance. And I'll talk a little more about this. So what we end up saying, hey, we don't really need to worry too much. When the child really wants to learn something, the child will figure out what resource, what people, and so on. And we together with the child can help the child. And so as much as if I want to learn something, I'll figure out how I want to learn that. Yeah. People talk about environment, what kind of schedule, should I do it this way, should I do it that way? And again, different people have different mix of how they want to do it, or what kind of systems or learning plans they want to do at their homes and their families. And again, everything is very child and family dependent. What we know is that if somebody is interested in something, then it's really a cakewalk, or rather a marshmallow walk, if I may use that term. So it just works very intuitively rather than a prescription being there. As we talked about, what about exam, boards, college? We say, hey, you can do exams, college, school, whatever, or you can just go on a self-driven kind of self-explored, no exams, no degree. Both the options are available. We even have a video which I'll send a link to you and you can watch about this. Finally, people talk about, hey, what about life skills, social skills? And this is where I would like to show that for an open learner, first of all, the whole world is a social circle. It's not limited to only my age people. And then if we start seeing this whole world as different circles, as you can see in the graphic, then you realize, oh, there are many, many opportunities, many, many people, many, many resources, many, many options, right from what is inside the home, within families, neighborhood, city, locality, and yeah, obviously the world. So we quite like this way of looking at it because it just throws up an abundance of options. Um, right. Finally, people ask, hey, what will I do as a parent? Well, we mostly, some people say I'm a co-explorer, somebody say I'm a co-learner, somebody say, you know, um, I have to first believe in the child and so on. So there are different thoughts that people have. Uh, we also say the same thing. There's no one role. We play possibly a million roles, right? From sweeper to to supporter to whatever you want to play the role of. And equally importantly, the child plays all those roles for us also. So it becomes a one-to-one rather than a top-to-down kind of at par relationship. And that's the beauty of it. People starting off also start thinking, oh my goodness, what will happen this way, future challenges, problems. And we say, yes, lots of problems, lots of challenges, lots of issues will come. And that's good news because those are the ones which is really the curriculum. Those are the ones which are opportunities to develop ourselves. If everything was like super easy, then what's the big deal? Much like how this visual is from the movie or novel Life of Pi, where the tiger in the boat is what makes him survive out in the sea. So that's the beauty of life. We all have enough tigers in our boats at every point in time. Right. Finally, just to kind of give you a view of how a typical open learning journey progresses at a younger age, and not just at a younger age, but to start with, we start with lots of exposures. And out of those exposures, some interest starts developing and child starts exploring. And out of those explorations, some of the areas the child may want to go deep into, especially as they go a little older. And that's what we call as the expertise stage. And that expertise, as they develop more and more skills, can be converted into an enterprise space phase, rather, where we start, let's say, earning money, if that is what somebody wants to do. So yeah, and to realize that all of these four continue all throughout our life. It is not like at this age I'm not getting exposed or I'm not exploring or I'm only earning money. No, no, not. Hopefully, I'm not only earning money. I'm doing the other three also. Yeah. Okay, so that's all about open learning, and let's quickly talk about Arohi, which is nothing but a community of families who are wanting, and the whole joy of being together is something which offers a very rich environment, automatic environment, not the physical environment, but a community basically for the child. There are lots of so many families, children, parents, grandparents in the community uh, give a rise to a lot of connections between different people based on their interest. Uh, it leads to collaborations, people doing together. Obviously, a lot of mentoring, supporting, guiding, not just adults guiding children, but children guiding children, children guiding adults, and so on. With the end result that we are all just together, co-living, co-supporting, co-learning, and most importantly, co-creating our life. Yeah, so that's what Arohi is. In terms of campuses, we have two campuses. One is a physical campus near Bangalore, but though it falls under Tamil Nadu, that's where I am right now. And the other is a virtual, you can say, campus, because so many of us, even when we are, we could be anywhere in the world, but we are connected with the whole community. That's the whole idea. So people freely move between the campus and wherever they are. It could be their homes, it could be they would be traveling wherever but we are always part of the community. Yeah. So one invitation before I close this presentation is for one way to experience open learning is obviously keep coming to this Saturday meetup, see the recordings, and the other is to come and stay with us at our physical campus for you to physically experience it. You can also, over a period of time, connect with other families, go visit their homes if they invite you. Finally, what we are trying to say is that open learning is not about making it easy or simple. It's about making it worth it because every year, every moment, every day, every week should be something I invest myself into the joy of living that week, and the learning automatically then happens. Right. So that's briefly about open learning as well as Arohi. Let me kind of pause this. I also we also have something a little different today, uh, and we want to do a small poll just to kind of stimulate few more thoughts before we get into discussion. So if you're okay, I will throw a poll on Zoom, and just to make it a little more fun, we have only given you one choice. So you may want to take many choice, but just take the one which you think is most interesting. And let's see how this goes. So they're going to be two questions, one after the another. Um, okay, let me launch the poll. Right. Oh, okay. Both the questions, I guess you can see. Yeah, I think you can see both the questions. So you can go ahead and answer both the questions. Now, if you have a question about any of these, question about the question, you can ask. Otherwise, I hope it's a simple poll.
So while shall we just wait for the poll to end, or should I give a brief about the theme?
I'm just wondering if people are reading, so then it becomes little.
Maybe we'll just wait.
Yeah, just I think almost it's 9 out of 12 people have done it. So that leaves, I guess, 10, almost everybody has done it. Yeah, Tuji, I think you can.
Pranav, you're entering at the right time. Poll results are going to come out.
Okay, so it's like 11 people have already responded. Obviously, it excludes me.
Okay, so let's just go on, and we can discuss the poll results a little later. So
Sure.
As you can guess from the questions, the meetup has a theme today around curiosity. The idea is that, curiosity is what drives learning at any stage in life. Especially so, when we are still unconditioned by society and culture and family and friends and all that. So if we look at that and how conventional education handles or treats curiosity in the learners, the whole approach is to regiment it, to condition it, to train people to be curious about specific things at specific times, rather than, when I see some bird flying, I can write a poem about it. I can observe the colors of the bird, or I can even think of the trajectory and maybe even the biology of why, and a whole bunch of things. So, the idea of learning or following one's curiosity is not bound by curriculum. It's bound only by our imagination. And like a lot of people say and write during this time of the year, when the results of exams and entrance tests come out, almost all the people who are thinking about these things at the larger ramifications of exams and the clamor for toppers, is that the first thing that these exams kill our curiosity, right? So then how do we in the alternate learning space look at curiosity? How do we nurture it? That's the idea with which we thought it would be good to have this as the theme of this week's meetup. And And the idea is not that we have a single message to convey. The idea of the meetups, like Ratnesh shared earlier, is that we discuss about things that are on our minds or maybe our hearts. And it's, if you have any questions about curiosity or about open learning, feel free to share them. If you would like to share some of your experiences with pursuing your curiosity or not pursuing your curiosity, because that's also something that we have to learn from children. They are able to turn off that curiosity dial so easily and just chill and relax and go to sleep. But when we are curious about something, hey, tell me, why are you not telling me your secret? That kind of bothers us. So, but a child doesn't have that kind of a problem. So what I'm trying to convey is that handling curiosity is one of the biggest lessons that we all learn in our lifetimes, and many of us don't learn. Actually, we try to learn. So yeah, please share your experiences with it and also your excitement about it. And not to mention, I mean, let's not forget about the reason why you came here, which is your doubts and questions about open learning. Those are welcome too. And maybe a little later in the session, like we typically go on till 6:30, probably around 6:65 or so, we can start talking about Arohi and the logistics of how do I do this in Arohi or stuff like that. So in the initial part, let's share our thoughts and questions about open learning, curiosity, and all the associated stuff, which is basically everything under the sun. But yeah. So the floor is open. If you would like to chat, as in type it out, you are welcome to. The results are out. But before we get to the results, you are also welcome to just unmute yourself and speak. We would encourage you to turn on your video if your bandwidth and connections permit. But otherwise, the floor is open. And you, Ratnesh, aap kar rahe ho ya Pranav? Who's doing the poll results?
Pranav?
Pranav is
actually,
here.
I am not able to, I'm on phone, so I'm not able to actually properly take it.
अच्छा,
Would you?
ठीक है, रत्नेश आप ही कीजिए.
No, there's nothing much to do. It was just
अच्छा,
this was just more like a stimulation, nothing really. We don't need
Okay.
to too much
no need to
analyze.
discuss anything.
Yeah. No, we
Okay.
don't really need to do that.
Let's just pique people's curiosity and let them figure it out.
Yeah, though a lot of people have talked about that, I would rather let the child's curiosity discover learning. And for the first question, more people have talked about that I'm already convinced and looking for guidance and communities. And perhaps
Lovely.
we are all in the right place in that sense.
Yeah,
More people. So strangely, I'm seeing 6 faces, including mine and all of obviously all members of our community, ROE community. So I would invite the people who have joined for the first time, and a lot of people have joined, to also join us on video so that we can connect with you visually if it's not too much of a bother. And yeah, we can chit chat. So over to all of you for thoughts and questions. Yeah, thanks, Rupesh. Thanks, Saurabh.
So while folks are gathering their thoughts, Rupesh and I'm sorry, I forgot.
Yogita. Yeah,
Yogita had shared some questions. So Rupesh, do you want to share them, or Yogita, would you like to please?
Yeah, actually, right now I don't have the questions in front of me, but okay, I can recollect. Mainly, a concern was regarding, first thing is that I would like to reframe the question. My thing is that in open learning, whether a timetable is a mandate to set up a timetable or to have a discipline in this open learning, whether it should be a mandate or it should be left to the child's choice. That is one of my question, or you can say it's a concern.
Would you like to share other questions also? Or would you like me to pull and copy paste?
Pasted it on the chat.
You did
if
that.
folks want to catch up on the questions that Rupesh and Yogita had shared on when signing up for the for this meetup. So Rupesh, I don't think anything in life is mandatory other than eating food and getting sufficient sleep. And those things will happen naturally. Other than that, I mean, some folks insist that there should be a timetable for that too. But if you observe, people live by different timetables. So even when it comes to food and sleep, um, some people can do with very little of one thing, and some people need a lot of another thing.
Yeah.
So the reason I'm bringing
Vijay,
that
shall we also hear some stories from Anjali, from Ambika, how they are?
Sure, please.
And maybe not trying to answer Rupesh's and Yogita's questions, but more trying to just share their stories, and I guess whatever, the answers will evolve by themselves. Yeah. So Ambika, you would like to share your journey, and that's not so important whether we answer these questions, because these get automatically addressed. Pranav, Anjali, Sandhya, and Vijay, you too many. I'm not.
For like timetable thing, I can remember one of my experience. Like I have two sons, so my younger one, he is now with like we are in Coimbatore, so we are just having whatever clubs happening in Arohi, like we do involve, and he is into more electronics, so he do watches other videos as well. So I just let him do whatever he want, and then sometimes I do tell him like just watch your eyes becoming heavy or like sleeping. So somehow he goes like beyond his limit, and he figures it out. No, because of this only I couldn't get up early in the morning. So somehow he feel like he himself has found out a pattern. No, I have to be energetic so that I can wake up, or sleeping time. So that's his own style of finding out the sleeping patterns and eyes into the gadgets. So that is one of the example I would like to share. Yeah, and there are many more. Maybe I can hear from somebody else as
well. Go ahead then.
You go ahead, then I'll go.
Yes. Yeah, my daughter is 14 years old. So though we have joined open learning and Arohi only since last year, but we too have faced challenges, all those things like following a specific pattern, all those things. But I think the main thing which is required is to like the kid has to plan for her learning, and she has to accomplish it which is satisfying for her in her own time. Of course, it doesn't follow the rigid 45 minutes so and so learning, 45 minutes playing, all those things. It has so many variations and so many skipping thing and all. But finally, when she's able to achieve her immediate goal or objective within a considerable time, then it's okay. Like not necessarily a specific rigid timetable is not required. That is my opinion. They plan their own thing, their own timing, own schedule, all those things, so they can figure it out.
From my point of view, like what I have observed with my son who is 7-year-old, he, as such, we don't plan and write on the paper, it's like table and all, but he plans in his mind and he executed most of the time I have observed. So like for example, if I share, we plan to visit a mall. So and we decided, well, this time we will visit. So we discussed and we decided upon. So next day I need not to remind him, or he only is keeping an eye on watch. Okay, this is the time we need to go. So I have to start the preparation before that and get ready and go to mall. And when we are coming, that also we discuss and then come. So it's not on the paper happening, but it's in mind is happening and he is clear on that. So the planning and the timetable, when it is my goal there, then definitely like a curiosity. So he's curious to go to mall. He wants to spend time there. He wants to have that games there. So he's waiting for one more mall visit, and he is clear in that plan. So we are figuring it out. Okay, when we can go. It's all discussion and then deciding. So I don't see it's like a curiosity. When I'm curious to know something, then the timetable automatically falls there. That's my that's my way of looking at it. Hope I answer something. I gave something to think.
Could I add? So regarding when we're talking about timetable, I've seen that since my childhood, whatever timetable I've made so far has never been successful. So I don't think timetable actually, and like a strict timetable actually works. But things, if it is revolved around few of the important things of life, like food, eating, these are fixed things. And somehow if we can timetable ourselves around these, and it works. Like in the case of kids, uh, things moves around their fooding habits. So that I feel is very, that works. I'm not able to put it correctly, but making timetable with kids doesn't work at all, at least at our end.
Go ahead, Pranav. You wanted to share
Yeah,
something.
just to add to what Saurav was saying, the timetable is a very dynamic thing. So, and probably time by timetable, we kind of understand planning. Probably that's the word we are looking for. Okay, is some sort of planning or discipline is what we are looking for. So, for us as a family, our daughter and even we, like my wife, and we also sit together as a family and design a plan wherein it should work for all of us. So my daughter might have a certain particular plan for her day, so where she has, say, this time I'll wake up, this time I'll go for a walk, or say go for a morning walk or exercise, whatever. So that might happen with my wife because she goes in the morning. So and then about the clubs that she is part of with Arohi, then about her gymnastics interest. So there she spends 3 hours in the evening. So that is based on her interest, based on her thing. But that planning the structure, like initially it was like every one hour would be captured in the day, and pura sabere like 7 o'clock se raat ko up to say 10 o'clock where we last listened to Sadhguru, that was captured in the whole planning thing. So that was how. But then gradually that planning also has changed in a way. What the planning also might work, might not work. So we work on that. So we constantly evolve the planning. So now say the planning would have more of, okay, now I need in this week I need to do this thing. These are my projects. So these are the things which interest me. So somehow I need to do these things, and how I can put them in a manner in a week so that it works for me. So as what Saurabh was saying about food and something where the family is involved, or say where my child wants to sit with me or with my wife, then there has to be a common time for both of us. So it can't be an independent plan of hers, and I would have an independent plan. That will not work. So we'll have to come together. So that's where the planning in a way, or a timetable in a way, comes to play. But then we are also trying to understand what is the way it should go. So as I said, now she's more like कि ये week में मुझे ये embroidery का ये चीज पूरा finish करना है. I want to finish this whole thing, or I want to do one dance recording, or I want to do this song, or I want to read Sapiens. So she would have that thing in mind, and then it will move around that, and how she can fit into her daily routine. That's how she decides. That is how it works. So while there is a system, but it's not very kind of a strict and that kind of a thing where nothing can move. The parts cannot move. These are moving parts, and it moves, and but somewhere we try to accomplish things throughout the week or even on daily manner.
I would like to add upon a point on timetable. May I?
Sure,
Yeah, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yeah, as I told with experience of being a student counselor in versatile board, I think the timetable has desensitized of all the children's need. The timetable doesn't allow us to think doesn't even allow me to connect with my own senses. That is why my huge frustration, not because of anything planning my child to do unschooling before even he was born, is because I have seen many children, even for their biological need, there is a timetable. Then I went into a deep thought. Only because of that timetable, I ended up in asking questions to my parents: what to do, what to do, what to do. That is the question, because I need timetable. uh, Only if there is a timetable I can work on. I need an agenda or a catalog to be prepared by someone else to decide on my own. And then I thought that my curiosity, the theme of today's thing is, the curiosity was not there. Then when my son is growing, now he is 31 months old, 2.5 years. There is no timetable, there is no structure, but I can evidently feel that whenever there is a curiosity for my own child to learn, he develops a structure for it. I am so shocked that how can he come into like that. He is ready for it, he creates a structure on his own, then he comes into the self responsibility. And that is why, and I'm so glad this is the first open learning I'm meeting in live, because 1 year I have been thinking to attend it. And I would also like to thank Miss Ambika. This is the first time I'm meeting her virtually, but I have நீங்க புலம்புனதை வச்சுதான் I have crossed so many hurdles. Your anxiety, Ambika, has helped me in many ways that gave me an acknowledgement of this journey.
Oh,
And thank
thank
you so
you.
much. This
Lovely.
the
Lovely.
beauty of this unschooling, homeschooling, every open learning is there is no timetable. The child decides on its own and is always connected with the senses. And the child is figuring out what to do. And once again, I'm thanking Arohi. Thank you so much. 1 year have been following this, and today only I took an effort. No matter what, because of that curiosity, I arranged from the morning. See, this is how my day is going to be. It's because of my curiosity, and I structured my own timetable because I need it today.
Lovely. Lovely.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you,
this is
Hivashri.
my view on timetable.
Yeah. Don't worry. Your son, you said, no, 31 months old. He's going to invariably find a way to make you more anxious even at a later stage. So
Yes, I remember Ratnesh telling in one video, whenever there is a challenge, be open to it because you're going to discover something. So it is a celebration. I remembered that sentence. He told
Yeah.
once, whenever there, I talked him over the phone once, and I told I'm facing so many challenges, and I asked him the very question, Ratnesh, could you tell me what is the right age for homeschooling? His one sentence, it can happen from birth. I was like, it took me months to discover what is the real meaning of it. Thank you so much, Ratnesh. It's been a very long back, but I still remember your sentence.
Lovely. Lovely. Um, so, Rupesh, would you like to ask any follow-ups or see? I mean, I'll just add one simple thing. Rupesh, the way we look at, we as in a lot of us here in the of today, when we are talking about open learning, we are also talking about self-directed learning, where the child, Rupesh and Yogita, sorry, but the idea is that we don't do things for the child, that we do things for ourselves, for our own learning, which you might have caught a drift of from what Parul was sharing and others. And the idea is that as we learn, the child also learns. We do our own learning journey and they design their own learning journey. So the objective is to not teach the child something, but rather we too learn from the child, and as much as the child learns from us or from anyone else or from any other resource. So just in a a gist of a short response, a brief response to the various questions that you had shared. But I would also encourage you to go through the YouTube, playlist of these meetups, because a lot of these points, like Ratnesh mentioned, have been discussed in these meetups earlier. And you can actually find a lot of answers, may not be direct answers, but things around these topics, around these aspects. Yeah, I mean, if there's anything else that you would like to ask or have pressing on your mind.
For like whatever dialogues I heard from all the parents, thanks for that one. First of all, it has given a very broad view to us. The only thing, like what I understand, that curiosity is basically a prime part for a self-directed learning. So there we are getting a setback. Like when we give a free hand to a child, that like some of the parents told that they let their child decide based upon his curiosity, let him plan the day. So whenever we are trying, like we are doing this homeschooling for last 1.5 year. So whenever we like try to give him a free hand to decide on his own that how he wants to spend a day, or how he spend a week, or how he wants to plan his activities. So that time he goes blank, like he is not able to decide on his own that what should I do, or in the other way I can tell that he's not able to find his curiosity. So there where we need to step in, like then we decided, okay, then we plan that, okay, you can spend your week or you can spend your day in a manner, let us design together. And we set up a, say what you call a planning or a timetable for him, and then we expect him that he should follow, but that doesn't happen. As like most of the parents, until the curiosity is developed, it will not work. That is what I take from this whole discussion. So then my next question will be how to develop this curiosity. We say we have been struggling very like for a long time now, and over a period now it is like getting all the frustration now that whether we are going the right path, whether the decision what we have chosen for the homeschooling is right, whether child is made for homeschooling, or it is only we that we are pushing him for the homeschooling, and he is not want. And recently an incident happened. I would like to share that one fine day he told that he want to go back to the school. So that was another setback for them. We thought that everything is running smooth, we are going very well, and even we are giving him exploration. Now that we don't know whether the exploration what we are giving is right for him, or whether he is lagging behind in something else. Maybe we could what we are thinking is not right. Maybe we are in our own world and we are thinking is everything is going on very well, but for him his world is another, and he is not thinking that everything is right for him, and he wants to go to back to the school. So that was one of our concern. So basically, like coming back to curiosity, so we are not able to find a passion of curiosity.
Yeah, Pranav, please go ahead.
No, it's okay. You can go ahead. Basically, my prime concern is only that one. That
We get it, Rupesh. I was just asking that let's hear from some of the others also about what, in response to what you have already shared.
So,
Yeah, please.
Rupesh, I would like to understand. Were you curious about why your child doesn't want to go to school, or rather wants to go to school? Uh, did you probe that area, or did you discuss as a
yeah,
family?
we had a dialogue with him that why he want to go to school. So the first concern he raised was that he's missing the school. Now when we ask him like what do you understand, what do you mean to say by missing the school? So he says he's missing his friend, he's missing his school bus, he's missing the activities at the school. So that we thought that okay, that is one thing that we are not able to give him as a homeschooler. Maybe there we can say that it is something kind of doing socialization. And when I speak of socialization, there are different socialization. What we are thinking that he is going to his table tennis class, he is meeting some friends, so there he is getting his socialization. He is playing in his society, then he is getting some people to meet. Or we are going out for trekking on normally on weekends we go out, we go into nature, that he meets different people. Even he has got a open learning called online sandbox academy. He's attending that also. So there also he's getting engaged with children and all. But that is what our thinking is, that this is what social we are giving him. But what he is told us, his socialization is something different. That is all related to school. So that was his main concern, and what he was thinking that he is not doing enough at homeschooling. Maybe he want to test himself. He's thinking that he's not learning or he's not doing his assignments. So that kind of things he told us. Anything else? That was the main thing basically. what he told, the main reason he wanted to go back to the school.
So how old is your child? I'm sorry if I've not heard it here.
He's 10 years old now.
And he has been to school earlier?
Yeah, up to third standard he was in school. Then we took him out of school, and for the fourth standard and now half of the fifth standard, he's doing homeschooling.
So when he shifted from um, schooling, normal like conventional schooling to homeschooling, so at that time or maybe during this 1.5 years, have you all been as a family been discussing together about the joys of open learning or something like that? Have you been talking together, or it was just your decision ki okay, we don't want to do school, we put him out of the school and now we do homeschooling? So he was not aware of anything and you just did it.
No, actually, it was a joint decision.
Wait, Rupesh,
Yeah,
pause. I think the discussion is more going very specific, which I'm not really in favor of, because this isn't about your family. It is more about understanding open learning. And I would say, when I saw your list of questions, I had a blessing for both of you. And the blessing was that may you never get answer to these questions. Right? Because that is what life is. Yeah, it was as if I literally read your list, replacing everywhere you have written homeschooling, and I replaced it with life. Setting up timetable for life, developing interest in life, making advantages of life, path forward to life, discipline to life. Now, if I forget the child, I was looking at myself when you asked this question. I said, my goodness, right? So I would say that is the beauty of life. There are no setbacks in that sense, because if we have a prefix design that this is how things will work, then it's automatically not open. It's already fixed, right? Then it's not open. Learning means that things will continuously evolve, things will continuously move here and there, concerns will keep coming, problems will keep coming. If you want to call them as concerns and problems, we just call them as masala, as a generic term. Then masalas will keep happening. Anjali is smiling because I know she has been through multiple masalas and so on, right? That is the beauty of life. And if we consider life as open learning, then your questions are the most beautiful questions, and I love them. Just that I don't have any answer to them. And I'm saying, let's just continue to be together, to keep sharing our thoughts. I'm not trying to say that we shouldn't look for answers. I'm just saying the answers will also evolve as children evolve, as we evolve, as our journey moves from one station to another station. And what I have really benefited from is by being with all these wonderful people in the community, whether it's Pranav or Anjali or Preeti or Sandhya or Ambika, which we are all community. And when we keep hearing from different people, different stories, different situations, what it gives me is I'm together with a group, and we are all evolving, helping, supporting, and sharing. So that is what that is what is the joy of doing it all together. Alone, I might have also got very, let's say, very, very tense or concerned about it. But together, I always know that there are always so many different ways of doing it. So sorry if I just wanted to little zoom out of the whole thing and say, welcome to the world in that sense, or welcome to the community in that sense.
Thank you. We would like to be a part.
Just to give you comfort, like even we are not really sure what our daughter is curious about. So I think most of the parents are in the same boat. But even I don't know what for me also. At this point in time, I may like something, or my interest will be something, or I could be into something. But doesn't necessarily mean I go deep dive into it, or I want to be an master into something. So again, it's as what Ratnesh said, it's a flow that we are into, and live that flow rather.
Pranav, I won't even talk about my daughter. I am not sure about these things for my own life. So yeah, but let's hear from Santosh, Parul, Fidar, Saurabh too. You guys have been quiet for a while, so please do share any questions or thoughts that brings you to the meetup, and
Yeah, hi. This is Peter.
Welcome.
Yeah, it's my curiosity about open schooling brought me over here, and I want to visit over here once. Then, meantime, I brought my daughter also to listen all about it. Uh,
Oh, lovely.
uh,
Yeah. Nice. So how old is your daughter, Fidder, and where do you live?
I'm in Bangalore right now. My
Okay.
daughter is 12 years old.
Okay.
Uh,
Lovely.
we want to make a comment about one of the slide. Uh,
Please.
yeah, all right. All right, come. Then, yeah, that statement you just go ahead.
We are not able to see your video. Could you please turn on your video if you don't mind, Fidder?
I'll turn on once my daughter leaves from here. She's not.
Okay, sure. Sure. No problem.
Okay, so you had shown the skirt on marshmallows.
Go ahead.
Okay, so basically it said learning can only happen when a child is interested. If he's not interested, it's like throwing marshmallows at his head and calling it eating. But basically, a school doesn't throw it in our head; it throws it in our mouth so we can eat it. It doesn't throw it in our head. That's the point I want to make.
So it's easy for you.
Yeah.
I like that statement. All right. All right. With that,
Thank you.
maybe you want to move, you can move. Yeah, with that, many times I was curious about open schooling. Then many of our discussions with a couple of friends, it comes into picture. Yeah. Like to us now from last 2-3 years, I was planning to visit Arohi. 2 years because of Corona, it didn't happen. Hopefully, during currently my elder son's exam is going on. Once it's over, maybe we will plan for a short trip. I think one day trip is still open, right? In between, I saw that it is now not open nowadays.
Yeah. So, Fidder, if you want to experience open learning Arohi style, one day is not enough. So you would have to plan a longer visit and do go to a website. We have a orientation that we would like you to, of course, sign up for a visit and also get an orientation of what Arohi is. One of which is actually being part of this kind of a meetup so that you get a flavor of what to expect.
Yes.
So we tend to not answer questions directly like Ratnesh swept in. And also we tend to have a lot more fun than what's visible on on these meetups.
Right.
And I'm jealous about some people here who are on campus right now because I'm not on campus. But yeah, it's super fun, and you're welcome to visit anytime. And yeah, I mean, just a quick comment to what your daughter shared. Whether we like marshmallows or not, they don't just put it in our mouth; they stuff it into our mouth. So
right.
so,
Yeah, that's what she started with that only.
yeah.
So
Thank you.
something are granted where we get a lot of things on that way. Maybe she's accustomed to that normal schooling, and she is comfortable to go ahead with that. Maybe last 7 or 9 years of that comfort she don't want to leave at this moment. That's another reason. Might be she can't think about leaving her friends. That's the best part of it.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah,
Very
we'll
true.
continue our discussion.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Thank you. Santosh, would you like?
Share a little about?
Yeah, please, Parul.
Yeah. So around the time of the lockdown, my son had moved out, or we had chosen that he should be out of the school that he was in at that time. And then the lockdown happened, and then we felt, well, anyways, this is the right setting for a homeschooling, unschooling kind of a scenario. And so we told him, let's do this, homeschooling, unschooling. Even if we don't do any schooling, if it's purely unschooling, that's also fine with us, etc., etc. And then the first 2-3 months were quite challenging, full of masala, so to say. with no help around, not being able to go out, all of that. So there wasn't any schooling happening at that time. And then around that time, my son told us, I'm missing school. He said, my husband and I were discussing education, and that's when he said, well, you people seem to be worried about other children's education, but what about my education? And I want schooling. And so that's when we found him a school, and he attended that school for 2 years. So it was, in a way, it was, where the child was demanding a structured schooling situation, and there was obviously something that he was missing from there. Maybe I don't know whether he could articulate it so well or not at the age of 7, but there was something that he really was yearning for, some familiarity, some maybe a group, maybe more people to be with, maybe a sense of whatever homework structure, whatever it was that he wanted. And so it happened for 2 years or so. Now again he's back to a physical school, but then we are coming to Arohi this year. So yeah, I think it's like even it's like when you're watering a plant. Yeah, you've sown the seeds, and when you're watering it, and there's nothing that is visible on the surface of things, but there's a lot that is probably happening beneath the surface. And I think as parents and as adults around, maybe watering and waiting for the seeds to germinate and show up is an important part of this whole thing. And it's so yeah, so I'm kind of there. And yeah.
Lovely. Thank you, Parul. Thank you for sharing that. Yes, Santosh, please go ahead.
Yeah. So I really loved the metaphors which Parul just used now. You sow a seed, water a plant, or water it. You don't see anything above the ground, but things happen underneath. This is wonderful, beautiful. I just want to go back to the question of curiosity. So a quick background. I have a daughter, 11 years old, homeschooling. So going back to the question of Rupesh, I think about curiosity, I think his question, the way I got it was how to kindle curiosity, how to make it seed or take birth in your child. So Rupesh, from my personal experience, I would just say this: expose him to as many things as possible. And you don't know, we don't know what kindles that curiosity, but something will come up. It will take time. Okay, it is okay to waste time. It is okay, and I understand the anxiety about timetable structure and stuff, because I have gone through the very same stuff. I am not yet a complete full convert into the ideas of Vijay here. I am not unschooling, but yeah, homeschooling. What I like is some structure, but not very strict structures. But yes, to answer a question about how to kindle curiosity, expose him to as many things as possible. That's what worked for me, and I think should try it. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Santosh.
Thank you, Santosh. Yeah, if you remember one of the slides that Ratnesh shared about the different stages of open learning, exploration is very much exposure. Exploration is one of those initial stages where you don't just expose or get to know new things, but also explore new things. So yeah, lovely. Thank you, Santosh. Any questions about Arohi itself, or how you would like to, how you see it, how you would like to be part of it, or anything regarding that? Let's feel free to ask those questions as well. And yeah, please go ahead, Yuvashri.
Is every Thursday is a visit to Arohi allowed? Now I have checked the website after seeing the Telegram poster. Which Thursday or every month?
Yeah, Ratnesh, I don't know about the latest calendar. Would you know?
Yeah. Yeah, the calendar, you've given the answer. There's a calendar on the website. Please check that. In that, it's clearly mentioned which days, which weeks you can come. So just use that, and then you go ahead and register.
Yeah, and the important thing there is, Yuvashri, please do register so that we know who's coming. And also, like I was mentioning earlier, we would want you to have a slight orientation before, though you seem fairly well oriented when it comes to ROE and your research. So, but still, there are certain safety related things that we discuss in the orientation, which is good for anyone who's planning a visit to, be keyed into, rather than, suddenly landing there and feeling, oh my God, is this what it is? Right. So, yeah. Good.
Yes,
Any other?
I do. I will register and follow all the protocols mentioned. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you. Yeah.
Can give some briefing on actually ROEX, how it works, what it is like. I understand it's an online platform, so just some briefing on it.
Okay. So ROEX is basically, so have you been to the website and gone through the ROEX pages, Rupesh or Yogita?
Not thoroughly actually. We have gone through the website, but we are basically looking what are the programs available, but we have not gone into deeper into each program so far.
Yeah. So ROE doesn't have any programs available, frankly. Right? Because ROE is not a school in the conventional sense where it runs certain programs. Right? So I would strongly encourage you to look at the ROEX website itself and get a sense of what exactly ROEX is, because so let's leave it at that for now. It's an online platform where we all, like Ratnesh was sharing, we connect, we collaborate, we co-create. So, and who is the we? The we are basically people who are interested in a certain topic, in certain activities, in certain, larger themes, right? So that's in a macro way, in a bird's eye view. That's what ROEX is. So there are no programs, and we all co-create things and we do things together. And that's how we learn and share our learnings. I hope that kind of answered your question, though Ratnesh is like, we are not in the business of answering, but I agree with that. But at the same time, yeah. And you can always write to us and we can discuss this a little more if you would like to talk.
So Rupesh, to add to what Vijay was sharing is, forget X or Y or Z. Just think that here is a community of people, and I'm joining that group as a family. Now, obviously, whatever that group is, the group will decide what to do. Right? There is no preset agenda. In fact, in that sense, there's just a community, and the community is co-creating whatever action has to happen, whether it's happening at in the virtual space using whatever different things, and or it is happening at your home, or it is happening at the campus. These are just locations. Locations don't determine the action per se. That is just a matter of where it is happening. More important is what is happening, and that is determined by the whole community. Let me look at it. Let me answer your question in this way. If you want any program, you will have to start it. As simple as that. Or you'll have to request, Anjali, please start this. Or Pranav, please start this. And they may even say, you both, we'll all together start it, right? So that is the whole fun of the community, where one person may initiate and another may say, yeah, let's do this and let's do that, and so on and so forth. And some ideas somebody says, let's do this, and it fizzles out. Some ideas become roaring success, some ideas float for some time, and so on. So the whole thing is a lot of action keeps happening. The individual, what exactly is happening per se is not important. Yeah. I think in some way this is same for any home also. In a home today something is happening, tomorrow something is happening, next week something else is happening. That may remain constant, may not remain constant. But what is really important is that, yeah, the whole family is together. Yeah, period. I mean, I don't think we need to say more. So that is what is Arohi community, as simple as that. There is no, forget all XYZ. Right? Now you can be part of Arohi community from wherever you are, in whichever way you are, whether it's at campus, whether it's at home, whether you are traveling, wherever you are. So that the physical location is immaterial.
Adding to that, X can be from anywhere and you can be at campus. So since 2 years, I have not been to a campus, but I'm part of community. Like Preeti is at campus right now, but when she's not at campus, but we're still part of the community. It's all together. So it's just two platforms physically, we can say. Yeah. So.
Well, they're not just two programs. Anjali's house is also a platform, and Preeti's house is also a platform.
Yeah.
And Sandhya's house is also a platform.
Yes.
So if you really look at it, there are that many campuses, plus everything outside their houses is also a campus. For us, a river is also a campus. We go surfing to a beach, we go skiing to a mountain, even that is a campus. So the whole world is a campus, if you really look at it that way.
Yes. So we are connected from anywhere, every time, anytime.
That you choose, right? I mean, that we choose. Yeah. It's not like everybody who's on in the community has a roll call that they have to answer it. Yeah. So lovely. Thank you. Thank you, Anjali and Ratnesh. If there are any other questions, we can continue or we can pause for the day. We are
I want to go back to,
please.
I couldn't really piece together all the discussion about the word structure, but I somehow felt that I want to add this perspective. So it may not be directly connected or to what everybody else was sharing. But it is somehow people think, at least some people think, that open learning means no structure. Open learning means freedom, right? But for us, that is absolutely, there's no such thing like no structure. There's no such thing like freedom. There's only one thing, which is which is co-creation, which is togetherness. What does that mean? Is that anything, if I say today I want to do this, yes, I can say that, but I can't do it in a vacuum. It is still connected with all the people around me, right? Let's say my family, or in our case, our community. Okay, so it has to be discussed, it has to be co-created as to what exactly I'm doing. But the thing is, so I have to create a structure for myself. And that is what is core to open learning, that I create my own structure rather than somebody else creating a structure to me. If somebody says you should study this in, let's say anything, let's even take maths, the most favorite topic of most people, right? That this should be studied in maths. As an open learner, I will decide what I want to learn in maths. What is relevant to me, what is meaningful to me now, I will learn now, and maybe what is meaningful to me after 10 years or 20 years or 30 years, I will learn at that time. So it is not that I will not learn X or I will not learn Y, but more importantly, I will create my own structure for my day, week, month, year. And it obviously is co-created, because if my creating a structure is disrupting somebody else's structure, then it doesn't work. Yeah. So as a family, initially, which is perhaps the most important unit, as a family, the family constantly keeps creating, destroying, recreating, remolding different structures. And that itself is a beautiful journey. And also in the whole fashion, also keep creating let's say, results or effects or consequences that each one of us want in our life. Yeah. So there's no dearth of structures, there's no dearth of curriculum, there's no dearth of clarity, but all of that is the onus of the group that is together, whether it's one individual or it's a family or it's a whole community, and that is what to us is open learning. So it's all about, the structures are very much there, yeah, but it's created by each one, and that is that's the thing, and the responsibility to create that also lies with one and the family and so on. So that is where a lot of discussions, that is where a lot of thinking through, that is where a lot of nudging, helping, supporting, that is what is really the whole flavor of the journey together. So again, I don't know if this was even required, but I just felt it was required, so I'm throwing it.
No, I mean, it does add a lot of value to the conversation because, yes, you're right. I mean, we didn't really address that particular aspect that came up in multiple points in the conversation today. Yeah. Anybody wants to add to it or share something along those lines or have any questions about that? Please.
Yeah, we have last couple of minutes.
Yeah, we have a few more minutes. So, yeah.
I don't know. My question probably will end up being a rather lengthy period, time consuming. But I think, do we think curiosity is too overrated as a thing? At times, it's like too much into the face. Curiosity. I'm just kind of loud thinking. I rather have a question.
Yeah, I completely agree with you that it's not just enough to be curious. We should know when to tone down our curiosity. when do we dial it down? Being able to turn up or turn down the dial is something that we all need to learn. Because if I'm curious all the time, then I'm not sleeping. I'm not able to do anything else other than that particular thing that I want to do.
Advertisers will have a good time then. They want
Exactly.
you to be curious about their advertisements.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know about overrated, but I do think that we don't understand.
No, I understand it is important, Vijay. I get your point. It's important, definitely, but it becomes too much of a subject, as in by itself. Curiosity by itself becomes a subject.
Yeah, I think Pranav, the topic of curiosity became so important because a lot of people over last, let's say, almost 30, 40, 50 years have felt that the education system actually does not allow space for basic curiosity even to be there. And I think that is where it became such a big topic. It didn't need it to be because it was so natural for people to, as Vijay is saying, to turn on their curiosity and turn off their curiosity. But somewhere this whole systemic approach, to learning anything, chopping it by subject, chopping it by age, chopping it by classmate, people realize, oh my goodness, we are losing out on that. And that's why it has been, talked a lot about in lots of TED Talks and this. And I guess they're not trying to say overdo it. They're just trying to say, hey, you're overdoing the other side of it. You've overdone it over the last 50 years. So it's not overdoing it. We're done with totally. So I think that's what is. Yeah.
And just to kind of second your thought, Pranav, there are a lot of things that are underdone. And we should probably be looking at a lot of those things and HOMs and stuff. Okay, so we are at the time which we usually pause for the week. Anybody wants to share a closing thought? Otherwise, we can just close at this point, which is a good point to close at, because it also opens us an opportunity to look at how else we can relate to each other in open learning. And what do we mean by habits of mind or other things that we should be looking at other than curiosity? So, yeah.
Yeah,
so
that is why we have themes every week, right? So we'll explore many facets of our life. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
Invitation is to join any Saturday, many Saturdays, whenever.
Yeah. Lovely. And of course, as mentioned earlier, there are recordings of earlier sessions. So if you feel that I didn't get my fill that I was seeking today, then please head over to YouTube and you'll